Guess where I am? Here's another clue. Yeah, so it's another week. So this is the week commencing Monday, 16th of August 2021, of course, but that was yesterday. Today's Tuesday. It's my first day on a run. If you watched last week's, you know I was at a stag do this weekend, or the weekend just gone. So I had the Monday off to recover and to see my sons, because I should have seen them on the weekend, but just how it worked out. So I had the Monday off, which meant this morning, I should say about my fuel card prices. I'll put them on the screen because I haven't got my little book with me at the moment. I've written down in. The BWOC one, the block one, is slightly cheaper, about 0.25 of a pence cheaper than the Shell card I get through UK Fuels this week. So I'm going to go back to using the block card this week. Even though the Shell one's a lot easier to use, I will use, slightly easier to use, I will use the block one this week, just because I haven't used it in a while. Give them a bit of business, and they are, as I say, slightly cheaper as well. So yeah, this morning, because I'd been in Wales yesterday, I didn't bother driving back to Walsall yesterday. I just stopped in North Wales. My plan this morning was to drive like 40 miles east to get to sort of Deeside area by Chester, park up there and look for a job. I was aiming to get there for about 9ish. So I was outside the house at like 8:20. Checked the feed, and there was actually a job on there from Bangor, North Wales. Obviously not Bangor, Northern Ireland, but anyway. Yeah, so that was a small van job, pick up within the hour kind of thing, standard, going to Hartlepool in the northeast. And I thought very unlikely they're going to get many bids for that. I'm only 8 miles from it, so I quoted it at 85 pence a mile, including getting there, which is 8 miles. Came out at 189. I was slightly less actually, but I bumped it up to 189 to make sure I did do the 85 pence all in, and I got it. Like I say, you're not going to get many people out that way. So nipped over to Bangor, picked it up from a joinery supplier, trade only place. Well, I said it, a company called Benchmarks, which are the same company as Travis Perkins. So I picked it up from Benchmarks in Bangor and had to deliver it to Travis Perkins in Hartlepool. I said in the notes, and the guy said to me to be careful how you handle it, because it's a unit and some people have damaged them. But when I got there, it was still flat packed, so it was like a 20kg box. Put that in the van and off I went. Nice long drive up here, M62 and stuff. Bit of traffic on the 62 Leeds way. Got tipped about 2. I did stop on the way to get a coffee. I'm still not feeling with it from the weekend really. And also toilet and stuff, get a sandwich. So I tipped at 2. Then I was really surprised how quiet the feed was up here, given how busy it's been. I've not been up here for a few months. But I thought, because everyone else has picked up, it would have been alright up here, but that time in the afternoon at least, it was really, really quiet. I'd say like 3 or 4 jobs an hour, all from small van or car all the way up to long wheelbase in my catchment area. And within my 30-mile catchment area, notifications, I checked it on the app, it was, you know, covered most pretty much all of Newcastle, but not as far as like Cramlington, if you know this area a bit. There's very little coming up, so I started bidding on jobs for the morning. Eventually got one, which was picking up in Newcastle itself, NE6, which is where I am now. I'm sure you guessed it already. Tyne Bridge behind me. Is that the Millennium Bridge, the fancy one, and the fancy little dome building over the other side? Yeah, so I'm picking up in the morning at 8. This is apparently 2 units as well from some furniture factory. It's going to central London, Chelsea way, but not in ULEZ, just outside of ULEZ. Quote with this, how much did I quote it? 279 or something, and it's 290 miles or something, so it's close. It's a small, short wheelbase job. I quoted it really close, because I was 37 miles from it. I quoted it 85 pence a mile, including getting here 37 miles and then all the way down to London. It's a short wheelbase job, so it's come out close to £1 a mile really, but I've still got it. Didn't phone me for quite a while, so probably waiting for a better price, but didn't get it and give me the job. Maybe. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Nice to be in Newcastle. I think I mentioned before, I used to live here. I lived here like 2010, 2011, so 2 years. Used to work up by Ashington, so I lived this side of the river to the north. And when I've been on the run doing this, I've been to Newcastle a few times and Washington, but never actually got this side of the Tyne. So yeah, it's quite nice. So got parked up here just after 5. Gonna go for a wander around town and down the river, get something to eat. Try and get an early night, because like I say, I'm still feeling shabby. Can't handle my drink these days. So anyway, that is the start of the week. My working week. Yep, Tuesday done. Right, it's Wednesday evening now, about 8:30. Getting dark. The nights are definitely drawing in, aren't they? So yeah, last night I had a good walk around town. Bit of a trip down memory lane for me. Walking around Quayside, nipped into Gateshead to get something to eat. Crossed over the Tyne Bridge, walked around town. Actually went to have a look at the castle, as in Newcastle. Bit ashamed to say I'd never actually been to see it, even though I lived there for 2 years. There's not much left of it, but there is some of it, so I checked that out. Last night I kicked in a Morrison's car park, not all that far from the quayside and the centre of town really. Byker, that's the clip, Byker Grove. So that's actually where the place was I picked up this morning, and where I stayed in the Morrisons overnight. I was in Byker. Byker Grove, obviously, well, if you don't know, that was where Ant and Dec made their name, or Geordie Twerps, as my old man calls them. Anyway, so yes, decent night's sleep, really quiet in this car park last night. Surprised it was not limited parking there, because it wasn't all that far from sort of Newcastle itself. Got up this morning, got my meal deal for £3 from Morrison's, bit of a bargain. Went to pick up these units just down the road, got there like 5 to 8, it was pick up between 8 and 9. Loaded really quick. It did say in the notes, and when they spoke to the lady, she says, have you definitely got blankets? Need blankets for this. They're really keen on you having blankets, and make sure they're happy with how you've packed it before you go. So I turned up, and it was 2 units, but not like units to be built in. It was just like 2 bedside tables basically, and they were hell of a heavy. Not very big, obviously, because they're bedside units. They're probably like a couple of foot tall at most, but they were proper, quality units made out of hardwood, and they had a brass base, but it wasn't just legs. It was like they were like on a brass stand, which made them really, really heavy. So I put them up against a bulkhead either side of my sack truck, so it's just enough space there, kind of thing. And I put a blanket down, put them on a blanket, and then put another blanket over the top, and then pushed them right up against a bulkhead in the corner. Didn't bother strapping them, because they're not really going to move. And if you're strapping them, there's a chance the strap itself might scratch them. Anyway, I got that on, got down here. Pretty straightforward drive, not much traffic, just into London as you'd expect. Skirted around part of the edge of the ULEZ and turned sort of turned west towards Chelsea. Just to some shop on, a street in Chelsea. Some like high-end shops there. It's obviously an expensive part of London. Furniture shop. Didn't have loading by anything, so I just had to park on the side of the road. Luckily, single yellows. Guy from the shop helped me unload them. So I was having a bit of a chat with him. Talking about how heavy they were and stuff, and talking about them. So I just asked him, not really being that nosy, he just says, what do these retail for them? What are they going to be sold for in the shop? And he goes, these ones are probably about like £4,000 a piece. So who pays £4,000 for a bedside table? people who are very rich, obviously, people who live in Kensington and Chelsea. It's quite interesting. I went around Piccadilly Circus and some certain squares I quite know on the way from there, and drove past loads of the embassies and stuff. It's a very, very expensive part of town. West London, isn't it? Chelsea, Kensington. It's quite an easy tip, really. Check the feed after that. Only like a few minutes, can't really sit there too long on the side of the street. And before I got there, I'd already worked out where I was going to go, what my escape route was, because you can't sit around. So I headed for Brentford, which is like 7.5 miles away. But I'd actually gone a shorter route on the way to the pickup yesterday, on a Tuesday night. And the way I came down was 8 miles shorter, so it was kind of priced into a job. Parked up in Morrison's in Brentford. But even that's like 50 minutes. Was it 50 minutes? Something daft like that. That's why I don't like central London. Because when you're driving to get away and get somewhere parked up, you're not looking for jobs. Wasn't parked up long. There was a job on there. Well-known chipper does collections. Done more jobs for them lately since it's got busier, and I have done for a long time. Because I think they normally try and get jobs done very cheaply. I think now they have to put their rates up because it's busier. More demand for drivers, so I got better price for them, and it was picking up 2 places, so it was like 5 miles to the first pickup, driving for 21 miles to Enfield, that's where I am now, do another collection in Enfield, and then drive like 2 miles from the last collection to drop into a parcel company depot. And each collection was 5 minutes and the drop was 10 minutes, so that was ideal. But driving up here from Brentford to Enfield took me an hour and 20 minutes. So I drove to NW10, that was 25 minutes. Then from NW10, where my first collection was, to get to Brentford was an hour and 20 minutes to do 22 miles or something. Madness. Anyway, yeah, so that was it. So got 60 quid for this, 23 miles loaded, 5 miles getting there, so it's just over £2 a mile for this one, so that's pretty decent. Bump up my pence per mile for the week. It's not fantastic so far, on target, but not much above target, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's it. So had some fried rice. Gonna watch a bit more stuff on YouTube now. Excuse me, that's the fried rice. Just catch up with stuff. And find somewhere to sleep. Get up early-ish in the morning and try and get a job out of the southeast before everyone from outside the area gets here and looking to get out cheap. So that is Wednesday done. Right, Thursday evening now, just after 2 jobs today. Not a great day in terms of my total takings. I've come a bit short of my minimum target of 220, which I try and do, but a pence per mile has been really good today. Like £1.50 a mile, good. So the first job, or the first thing this morning, I don't know what happened. I set my alarm for 7. I snoozed my alarm. I think I thought I snoozed it, but I actually knocked it off. And then I woke up and it was like just after 8. I was like, bugger, I'm supposed to be trying to start early today, early-ish. But I'm really not a morning person. I didn't sleep particularly well last night. I think I was in my full winter sleeping bag because I wasn't sure how warm it was going to be, but I think it was just too hot to sleep properly. And then snoozed in. So I felt a bit tired today. Got a job like 9:45, so I had a bit of a wait to get a job. I was being fairly selective because I didn't really want to go back down the southeast like to London, and that Thursday I want to try and getting closer to home. I just had enough of London again. Enough for 1 week. The job I picked up. God, I just looked at it again. How was it? God, this is worrying. Yeah, it was picking up. I remember now. Yeah, I picked up from like a distribution big company warehouse, and I think what they do it for, they do parts distribution for a car manufacturer. So I picked up a load of parts from them. I think they were like return parts and reject parts, and then I took them to this car manufacturer's UK training centre further up, just off the M1. Can't remember exactly where. And when I got there, it said that was a pickup, and then I was supposed to be taking the drop back in Milton Keynes way, heading south back down to Milton Keynes. But when I got there, there's a bit of confusion. The notes on the job were pretty poor, to be honest. When I finally got through to someone on the phone and then spoke to the people at this car manufacturer's training centre, like UK headquarters, they says, yeah, these parts that you've got are definitely to be delivered to us. We get these like every week. And there's nothing to go on to this other drop. So they basically said, okay, great, just deliver them there and then mark the second drop as nothing to deliver. So, and the job was 96 miles loaded. In the end, it turned out to be 65, and just pick up and deliver rather than 2 pickups and a drop. So that worked out quite well. I'll put it on my screen, but I forgot what the town was called where I dropped to, but I drove out of there and I noticed there was a few other like motor manufacturers. There's like Perkins with there, and they make engines for trucks and plant and stuff. There's also another car manufacturer's like UK parts distribution place there. So yeah, it was quite interesting. There's a lot of it around there. Got that done, packed up outside for maybe an hour. Plenty of jobs coming up, but again, trying to get really closer to home or go up the northwest. It's only had 105 quid on that first job, but obviously ended up being way over £1 a mile because of the shorter job, and they didn't even ask about taking money off a job, but it was kind of their cock up. So, and then I eventually got a job. I looked at it, I wasn't really that interested in it because it was local-ish, and then it was going south. So it turns out it was picking up in Silverstone motor racing circuit, or like a business park right next to it, and delivering down to, God, not having a good one this evening. And bells are distracting me as well. Bell ring is going a bit crazy. It's Peter Curry Driver Company, country. I'll put it on the screen. Yeah, so I picked these. That's really distracting me. I picked up these boxes from Silverstone Racing Circuit. There was like, it said pallets of merchandise, and name on it. It rang the bell. It turns out it was a Formula 1 driver, and he was collecting some of his merchandise that were going to be sent to the Russian Grand Prix. A Russian driver, Mazepan or something, for them then to be sold to his fans. Are expecting to sell lots at the Russian Grand Prix because he is Russian. I might just have to shut these windows. But that was a bit of a faff. It's supposed to be pallets of merchandise. Turns out it was like 56 large boxes, like half the van full, like front to back and halfway up. It took me best part of an hour, because I had to, in a quarter of an hour, that was annoyingly, I was loaded, and I say, right, good to go, any paperwork? And she goes, oh yes, there is actually. And she disappeared for another quarter of an hour and then came back eventually and gave me the paperwork. But I was getting good money on this job, because it said, it's one of these jobs, it's 38 miles loaded, and it says pays 95 quid, which is why I went and did it. And worked out £1.70 a mile, including getting there. So yeah, I got to the other place, the other end to tip it, and it's the name of a major global shipping company. They do a lot of parcels as well as other stuff. So I was expecting to go into like a parcel depot, but it wasn't. It was a depot that I think is just for motorsport. So they have a motorsport arm, and I think they ship a lot of stuff for Formula 1 teams. So they've got a lot of trucks going on in Europe and stuff being flown obviously for the abroad things. and they had some of their own trucks. Major global company, and they had like most of the trucks were really pimped up. They had, you know, private plates on and stuff, which is not something you normally get for a multinational company like this. So that's all they do in this place. No, we just do motorsport stuff, and it's, you know, trucks and stuff, you know, taking stuff. So the yard is just full of trucks and trailers. There's no sign of any vans or general parcel stuff going on. And when I got there to the gates, he goes, "Oh yeah, you've got one pallet for me, haven't you?" And I'm like, "No, not a pallet, mate. It's all loose." And he's like, "Why is it loose?" And I go, "Well, that's how they gave it me. It took me like over an hour to load it." So he wasn't best impressed, but he said, "I'm not having to go at you. I'm just annoyed with whoever organised it or something." So he rang some guy up on the phone and started giving him stick, and then took a photo of all the stuff in my van. It turns out it's 4 pallets worth. Probably could have got it on 3 pallets, but it'd been quite tall. And the guy helped me unload, and then that was it. But that was quite semi-interesting, where it was going and stuff. Yeah, so that put me here. Still can't remember where it is. I've had some chips. Looking at the feed for tomorrow. I've got a job booked in. I saw it. I can't remember if I bid on it, but it was a bit early for me, and they reposted it. I don't know. I don't think I did bid on it. It's picking up at 6:30 in Milton Keynes, going to Chester. So obviously Chester's like overshooting home really. Ideally now when we're getting stuff more to the Midlands. I've never had this before. I've had it when they just blind call you and say you're available for such and such job, but this one they didn't. They must have got my number from the CX and just text me. So yeah, it's 161 miles loaded. I'm about 20 miles from it, or a bit less. And I said, yeah, I can do it for 100. I said I don't normally work that early because I don't generally. I can do it for 175. So yeah, doing it for that tomorrow. It is picking up at 6:30, like I say, so I should get to Chester pretty early, and then I've just got to try and get back to the Midlands. Yeah, so that is Thursday done. Right, Friday about 6:15 now. Last on the run update of the week. So yeah, I'm just parked outside. I seem to quite often film these last bits in Morrison's down the road from my house because I get stuff on the way home. That's where I am. So yeah, quite a good day today. Busy day, decent earnings day. So I started off with that job which I got yesterday, which was the early pickup 6:30 going to Chester. Got there about 6:20. I stayed in the van just like over the road from it in some like business park, no parking restrictions, nice and flat, nice and quiet. So yeah, it's pick up 6:30, got there 6:20 after nipping to the BP garage and getting my meal deal and my coffee as part of it. Got there 6:20. They said, "Oh yeah, it's not quite ready yet, mate. It's still kind of being painted or powder coated." What it was 24 lengths of, if you ever go to these big warehouses, they've got these massive shelves, industrial shelves, and they seem to always have the cross members, like the horizontal bit are orange. It was some of them basically, and they were still being powder coated, so when I did get them, they were still warm. Yeah, so 24 of them in a bundle, 3 meters long, on a pallet, loaded, gone by about 7:15, so a bit of a delay there. About 45 minutes from obviously when I was booked to get there, so that's when the time starts, but didn't make a fuss with it for 15 minutes. And as it turns out, the tip was really quick, just to some small industrial unit that was being set up as a carpet store, like carpet centre or flooring centre. Straightforward drive up there. So yeah, it's tipped about 11ish, just before 11 maybe. So that put me in Chester. Sort of, it's CH1, but it wasn't bang in the middle of Chester, which was nice. It was like an industrial estate. Got a job pretty quickly after that. I was looking to get home, obviously. A job pinged up from Widnes, So Widnes is pretty much the same as Runcorn, but it's like the other side of the Mersey. I was on the south side of the Mersey, I had to cross to get it. So it was 2 ways over the Mersey flow for this, so £4 in extra costs. It was picking up in Widnes going down to Stone, which is between Stoke and Stafford. So it was kind of getting me closer to home. So I priced it 85p a mile, including getting there, my usual, even though it was a short job. Totally forgot about the £4, but it doesn't matter. Picked up some road marking pins, which were just like steel pegs, basically, like chunky, probably like 1 inch diameter and 2 foot long, and I delivered them to a building site where they're doing the groundworks for a housing estate. So I think these are what they hammer into the ground to mark where the roads are going to be. That's what I'm guessing. They put them in like a big Hessian, builder's sack, like they normally have sand and aggregate in. Got to the other end when I tipped. I thought, oh, we're going to have a forklift maybe, but if not, it's probably going to be a telehandler. But no, they used one of them a few weeks back. I don't know if it's last week or the week before. They delivered like an attachment for an excavator, a digger, and they used one of them to get it out, which was a bit scary because it was a bloody big excavator, massive thing. So even though it's 400 kilograms in this sack, I still managed to drag it sort of from maybe a metre inside the back of the van, drag it right to the back, because I didn't really want him trying to manoeuvre this fork in on this massive excavator arm. I just thought this looks dodgy, and if he catches the top of the van, it's just going to knacker it, like it's going to have so much power. So yeah, a bit nervous about that, but the guy was obviously knew what he was doing. Got it out, no trouble. Parked up round the corner. I thought it'd be nice to get a job now, just get me sort of closer to home. If not, I'd just drive home. Done alright for the week by that point. But then a job pinged up from Telford. I was 25 miles from it, but as soon as it pinged up, I knew the job because I've done it before and I've seen it on the feed before. It's picking up from a bearing supply company that supplies bearings and delivering it to 2 places in Halesowen, like industrial supplies places. And one of them like does rewinds and rebuilds of gearboxes and stuff. When I used to work in engineering, we used to use them. They're like a multinational country, if not global. So yeah, dropped off to them. So yeah, real straightforward. Didn't have to get there till quarter to 4 was a pickup, so I'd like plenty of time to get there. I had like half an hour to kill when I got there, so I left it 15 minutes, went in 15 minutes early and they were ready. Got loaded. This is one of them jobs. The CX was kind of take me down the M54 and then down the M6 and then down the M5. That's the way CX worked the route out, but it was like 25-minute delay on the M6 because it's a Friday and it's summer holidays and it's just a nightmare, these motorways around here on a Friday at the moment. So the quickest route was going just direct down the A roads, sort of past Bridgnorth, just to the north of Bridgnorth, which was obviously quicker, 5 minutes quicker than going the M6 because of the delays, but it was also a bit shorter. So yeah, I priced it just under £1 a mile. It turned out being more like £1.10 a mile, all miles, including the 25 miles getting there, so that was alright. Tipped them really straightforward, obviously knew exactly where I was going, the goods indoors, I've been there before. And then I had 11 miles to drive home, which took me 40 minutes because I had to avoid the M5 because that's chaos as well. I'm pretty tired now. It's been a really good 4 days, so I think I've averaged for the 4 days 250, so I think I've done £1,000, just over, I think, or thereabouts. I've not done the figures, that'll obviously be in a summary, and I think I've averaged around, hopefully slightly over, £1 a mile all miles, so that'll be really good for a 4-day week. But that'll come out in the wash when I've totted my numbers up for the week, and I'll do that in the summary. Right, and just like that, it's summary time, but it is actually Sunday now, late afternoon, so I was hoping to get this done a bit earlier, but anyway, yeah, so quite a good week this week, even though it was just 4 days, so 4 days on the run, 3 nights away tramping in the van, so I didn't get home, didn't use any hotels or anything. So go straight into the numbers, I suppose. So obviously Monday was a day off. Tuesday, 1 job for 189. Best day was Wednesday, 2 jobs, 273 and 60, which is 333 quid for the day. Thursday, 2 jobs, 105 and 95, which is 200. And then Friday was a really good day as well, especially for a Friday, because I've said it's normally harder to earn the money because I'm more restricted in where I go. I'm not so go anywhere mode. I'm kind of like work my way home. But I had a really good day on Friday. 175, 67 and 60, which is 302 for the day. There was £4 worth of tolls in that as well. The total for the 4 days, 1,024, which is £256 per day. Mileage for the week was 1,002, so pretty much 250 miles a day. So that works out an all miles pence per mile from leaving here on Tuesday morning to getting back on a Friday afternoon of 102 pence point 2. So over £1 a mile, all miles. So that's pretty good. I have done over £1 before, but I'm really happy with that. As I said, additional charges, £4 2 ways on the Merseyflow. I can't remember. I must have gone through the Dartford crossing. Or did I? I can't remember. I don't think so. Anyway, so there could be a Dartford crossing on there, and if it is, it's like 260. So, like I say, my takings for the day, for the week, are 1024. So that's not my earnings. So once I include my VAT bonus, because I'm on the flat rate scheme, which is basically an extra 8% on that, so I times that by 1.08, and that'll give me my total takings for the week, and then minus my fixed costs, which is £20 a day, so that's £80 for the 4 days, and then minus my variable cost, my per mile cost, which is 30 pence a mile, so that's for 30 pence or 0.3 times whatever mileage is, so it's basically 300 quid for this week, minus my additional costs, which are 4 quid, maybe £6.60, I can't remember exactly, there's neither here nor there. Comes to an approximate, because these are all obviously approximate, pre-tax earnings, so that's earnings because it's takings minus costs, of £720, which divided by 4 is £180 per day. So that is, like I say, pre-tax. So I'm a sole trader, so that's what I'm basically going to be paying income tax on, and national insurances. Insurances is right actually, because there's 2 different parts of it. Yeah, and that'll leave my take home, but obviously take home is a bit, depends how much I earn over the year, so I can't really say week to week what my take home is. Depends what you do over the year. So that was it for the week. Quite a good week earnings wise. It was good to go back up to Newcastle. So I've been up to the northeast before, but only to like Gateshead, Washington, because it's not, strictly speaking, you're not in Newcastle until you cross the Tyne. Even though I'd been right on the South Tyne coast before doing this, I'd never actually crossed over, and I got to spend the night there. That was good. Like I say, a trip down memory lane. Really like Newcastle, great people up there, really friendly, down to earth. It's a great city really when you think about it. It's got, it's big enough without being too big. It's got the river, really nice coastline, Tynemouth and all that kind of thing. Beautiful coastline, Northumberland, and mountains and Kielder Forest, and yeah, I liked it up there. And it's got like really good, what I liked about Newcastle was it's got really good public transport system. The metro's got its own like train system. So yeah, I really liked Newcastle living there. Didn't like my work because I just wasn't into it. Didn't go very well really. I was there for 2 years, not feeling it at all, not really suited to the job I was doing. But yeah, I did have a good time living there. So I was in my mid-20s, great night out and stuff. So that was that for the week. next week I'm actually going to have the week off. So I've had, I think the last 6 or 7 weeks, I've only done one full 5-day week, partly because I've been taking time off, and then the van was in the garage for 2 days. I'm going to have a full week off now. Got things to do at home, and I'm going to go back up to North Wales, see the family and see my sons and stuff. Then a week tomorrow, it's actually a bank holiday, and then I'll start on that Tuesday, so that's going to be a 4-day week, and then I plan to go right through till Christmas, just knuckling down and cracking on and trying to earn what I can earn. With probably, I think I'm going away for a long weekend late October, but other than that I've got nothing planned in, so that'll be the plan. Once I get back into September, work solidly through to Christmas. I think that's going to be the peak time of year. Things are obviously picked up now. There's still a HGV driver shortage that still making, I think, more jobs available. Stuff's going in vans because lots of stuff's been, no trucks to move it. Yeah, so looking forward to a week off. I did have my second COVID jab yesterday, so I do feel a bit shabby today. They said it a bit like I did last time, like probably gonna have 2 or 3 days feeling a bit crap, a bit of a headache and sore arm and stuff. Fully jabbed now. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching as ever. Please give it the old thumbs up. Apparently it does help. As ever, any comments, any tips from me, or anything you think that's relevant, anyone who watches this might benefit from it, wants to read the comments, please comment. And as ever, I'll see you in probably 2 weeks time maybe, and cheers.